So I'm going to do a really quick tutorial because I feel like some people need to know, sorry for the clinking, some people really need to know how to quick and dirty set up a Google Classroom. So I want to have you start with me. We're going to go through the quickest, dirtiest Google Classroom setup. I'm going to give you literally the minimum requirements to set up a Google Classroom that I think would be functional. And from there, I am going to add this to my blog post on this, and hopefully everybody who needs to set up a Google Classroom in the next, I don't know, couple of hours will be able to do it. This is like aimed at being 5 minutes. We'll see how we go. All right. So you see my drive. If you're in your drive or your mail, you know you can go to what's commonly called the waffle, and the Google stuff is just your apps little button. All right. Somewhere on there you'll have Classroom. You may have to scroll. I have it up because I use it a lot. You're going to go to classes. I have quite a few classes, and I recommend this. If you have another friend that's going to be doing this, you guys should work together and add yourselves to each other's classrooms so that you can try things on each other. Keith Toda and I have been doing this, and we find it really helpful because when we want to try something new, we can just be like, hey, check to see if this works. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes it hasn't worked out for something that I've tried, but I knew ahead of time that thing didn't work, and then I didn't have to try it out on my kids, which has been good. All right, so when you're in there, if it's their first time opening it, it's going to ask you to start Google Classroom or register it. Choose teacher, because if you do not, then you will not be able to create classes, which will sort of make this whole thing move. All right, then go to the right. On the right, you will see a little plus sign. Click it, and you will be able to join a class or create a class. We are creating a class. You're going to give it a class name, and that's literally the only thing you absolutely have to do. I'm going to call it Demo Class because I'm creative. We are creating the class. We are creating the class. It's going to load at some point. Yes, it will. I have faith in it. All right. Yes. Okay. So this is literally the minimum we can do. There's other things you can do. You can create things to put in this picture. Canva's really good for that. Believe it or not, Canva is got a lot of stuff to create pictures for your Google Classroom header. So if you're interested in that, do that. All right. Once we have created our demo class, we're going to go into settings. So let's go hit this little gear over here. All right. We're going to go down. I'm going to set my stream where only teachers or students can only comment, mostly because we are in this digital learning situation. I want them to get to know each other. In fact, one of my classes, after getting to know each other on the second day a little bit in one of our activities, they wanted to be able to share their social media accounts with each other. So I was able to post on the stream, which is kind of like an announcements page. Hey, post your social media accounts here. And then they were able to do that. If you make it where they can't comment, they can't. That said, I don't want them to get to create posts. That is up to you, but I don't allow it. Classwork on the stream. I recommend hide notifications. I don't want my classwork on there because I feel like it starts flooding them. Let's say you want to assign a question. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Assign classwork and assign a reading material. All three of those will show up as separate announcements on the stream, and your stream will get really flooded really fast, and kids will stop paying attention to it. You don't want that. You want the stream to be a useful place for you to post announcements that the kids will notice. So I just have it hide notifications. You can have it do condensed notifications where it does like a daily summary. That's okay, but for me, I'd rather just have control over what goes on the stream, so that's what I do. All right, you can have it show deleted items. I don't bother. If I want it to, I can do that. It will just be for me, but again, I kind of like having it really condensed. All right, I'm not using Google Meet. I'm using Zoom, but if you want to, you can have it create a Meet link, and you can be able to use that on your class as well. All right. You can have grade calculation. I do it weighted by category, and I'm only doing that just because I find it really useful to have them be able to reference it there. Grades go faster on Google than it does through our system, so they can see their grade faster there. And then I hit save. Done with creating your class. That's literally it. Now, to make it more welcoming, we'll type a little announcement. Welcome to your Google class. Look here daily for your class expectations and announcements. All right, and post. Now, if you have more than one class, whenever you write an announcement, let me click this. You can literally click that it hits any of your other classes. I don't want it to post on anything besides my demo class, so I'm just kind of at post there. You can actually make an announcement that only goes to certain students in a class, but since I don't have any in here, I'm just going to do that. You can also add attachments, etc. I really wanted there to be things on my Google class before I added students. I think it needs to look like a class before you add students. So I did this and I added some classwork. So we're going to add a couple of assignments. We're going to add a question and we're going to add an assignment. And then we'll talk about adding people and then you're done with your Google Classroom. So, and I'm going to have some assignments that are ready made for you on the blog post so that if you want to just take those and add them, you can. There's a couple different types. One thing that you might want to go ahead and add that I would add as a material is a syllabus. So I want to say syllabus and I'm going to be like, it's a syllabus. You can put whatever description you want. I'm going to add it from my Google Drive. I've already got it in the drive. And it's not in my recent stuff. You can see that I've been going through other stuff, but I can look to my drive. I can go into Latin 2 and I can find my Latin 2 syllabus. Click that. It's now attached and it's in my demo class. Topics we'll talk about at a later date if you want to do that. That's basically how you create categories. And I post it. And there it is. And then I can create a topic and be like, introductions. All right, so let's put a couple things in our introductions and then we can add people to our class. So let's do a question. Let's see. What is something you school appropriate you can do in a digital class you can't do in a classroom? All right, and I'm going to say instructions, answer the question and comment on others if you want, exclamation point, because I'm just so happy. All right, and I can add a picture if I want, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to ask this question. I want to go to demo class. I want to go to all students. Again, this is where you could actually add it to all of the classes or some of them. With these introductory things, I did it for all my classes no matter what level. How many points it's worth, a due date, we can make it due tomorrow at midnight. And I'm going to add it to introductions. You can also create a new one. You can let students reply to each other. You can let them edit the answer. I suggest never letting them edit the answer because I like to tell them, no matter what you write, I'm going to see it, because what you don't want is them to bully each other or say something inappropriate and then go back and change it before you get to see it. All right, so I hit ask. That's another thing that they can have already assigned to them before you start the class. And again, it's just good to have a couple things so it looks like a finished classroom. Last thing, I'm going to add one more thing. So a question is something you can do with no preparation almost. I'm going to add an assignment just so you guys can see me do it. I'm going to call it introduction slide. And I'm going to be like, fill it out. I would actually do a little bit more, but that's okay. We're going to go here. I'm going to go to my drive. It's going to take a couple seconds to load because I'm trying to go quickly. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to my drive. And I'm going to pull this. All right, so here I can pick that they can just look at it, but I really want them to be able to edit it. They need their own. I can have them all edit the same file, but that doesn't really let me see what all of them can do. So I want to make a copy for each student. Now they're going to edit their own and they'll turn it in personally. All right. Again, all the classes I want to assign it to, all the students I want to assign it to, a due date. I'm going to make it due Wednesday at midnight because I'm lazy. And you can check for plagiarism, but really, how am I going to do that on something that they're talking about themselves? All right. And I'm going to assign it. I put it in the introductions topic. It's going to assign. It's going to take its time to assign it, probably because it's making a copy for every student, even though they don't exist yet. So if I went back to look at the stream, you can see over here on upcoming, I now have things that are due upcoming. So that's exciting, guys, because now it looks like a class. There's an announcement, there's stuff coming up. So now if you go to people, you can actually add co-teachers to your class, or you can add students. So there's two ways to do that. You can actually, if you have their email, I'm not going to type here because it will bring up students from my county, so I don't want to take that chance on a public video like this. So you can type a name or email and you can send emailed invites to students, or I'm going to cancel, or you can give them the class code, which is down here small, but if you click it, you get it really big, and they can go back to that place where I showed you where you click join class, and they can put this class code in and join your class. And that's how you set up a Google Classroom. And once you have your students in, they can start doing the work and everything works from there. There's still a lot more to do with Google Classrooms, but that's as quick and dirty as you can set up a Google Classroom with 2 assignments and an announcement.